It started with a strange feeling in the back of Clara's mind as she scrolled through her social media feed. It was late at night, and her small town was eerily quiet, the kind of silence that presses down, making every creak and whisper seem magnified. She loved exploring forgotten corners of the internet, strange forums, obscure videos, and old television clips, but tonight she found something that chilled her to the bone. An anonymous post linking to a series of unlisted videos, titled only, "The Lost Broadcasts." Curiosity turned to obsession as Clara clicked the first link. The clip was grainy, black and white, and showed a familiar family room from a popular late-night sitcom that had aired years ago. But something was off. The laughter of the actors was warped, distorted, as if the sound had been deliberately manipulated. The set looked torn, the scenery flickering between loops of normality and unsettling chaos. In some frames, her favorite character's face seemed uncharacteristically blank, eyes hollow, staring directly into the camera, or maybe into her. Most intriguing, though, were the titles of additional videos revealed in the description, all listed as unaired special episodes. Over the next few hours, Clara watched more, each more disturbing than the last. In one, the cast was gathered in the studio, but their smiles looked forced, their eyes glassy, as if they were captives in their own show. Some scenes played out like nightmares, faded in and out of existence, flickering between reality and hallucination, with glimpses of shadowy figures lurking in the background, never fully revealed. What unsettled Clara most was an unspoken feeling creeping into her mind, an instinct to keep watching, even when the videos grew increasingly disturbing. The characters' faces contorted into agonized, screaming masks, mouths stretching unnaturally, eyes bleeding streaks of black. A recurring motif emerged. A shadowy figure dressed in dark clothing, always lurking just outside the frame, watching. She shivered, trying to shake off her dread, but the videos insisted on pulling her deeper. The last clip she ventured into was unlisted, a final episode that seemed to be a crash of the entire broadcast. The image was out of focus for moments before revealing a rundown, abandoned studio, the scene lit by a flickering overhead light. No cast members were visible, only faint, echoing footsteps and distant whispers. Suddenly, the footage arrested. A figure stepped into frame. Tall, cloaked in darkness. Its face was impossibly elongated, features blurred and shifting. It reached out with a bony hand, finger pointing directly at the lens. The audio burst into an incomprehensible screech, then cut out. Clara instinctively reached to close her laptop, but her hands trembled, and a cold sweat broke out on her forehead. The room felt suddenly oppressive, like she was no longer watching the videos but being watched. The flickering screen seemed to distort, darker shadows forming at the edges. The air grew thick with a low, whispering hum, words she couldn't understand, but somehow, she knew they were meant for her. A sudden, loud knock at her door made her jump. Her heart pounded as she hesitated, then slowly moved to open it. No one was there, just the empty hallway, cloaked in shadows. She looked back at her screen, which now displayed a new message, "Run." A cold dread seized her as the images on the screen flickered, revealing her own reflection staring back, eyes wide with terror. As she stared, shadows seemed to creep from the edges of her room, stretching and twisting. She wanted to scream, but her voice caught in her throat. The whispering grew louder, more insistent. A sudden gust of wind slammed her window open, though no breeze blew. The screen went dark. Then, an unearthly whisper directly into her ear. "You're part of the broadcast now." Clara's breath hitched. She backed away, knocking over her chair. The shadows engulfed her peripheral vision. She wanted to run, to call out for help, but all she could hear was that relentless whisper filling her mind, urging her to watch. Hours later, the first light seeped into the room. The house was silent, save for the faint glow of her laptop, which had mysteriously turned back on. The screen now displayed only one phrase, "Don't look for us." Clara was never seen again. The town moved on, unaware of what had happened, but every so often, late at night, those who dared browse the internet whispered about the lost episodes, about the shows that seemed to follow viewers, pulling them into their haunted worlds, never to return. And if you ever stumble upon an unlisted, unaired episode in the quiet hours, be warned, some broadcasts are better left lost.